Today's a great day because today's the day that I teach you how to make your ex-boyfriend miss you. I'm Chris Sider, and over the course of this video, you're going to gain the ultimate insight into the mind of a man. See you on the other side. So we're going to start off today by talking about some of the reasons for why your ex-boyfriend may not be missing you. Now, there are literally thousands of reasons, but we're not going to cover thousands, obviously. Instead, all we're going to be doing is talking about the most popular reasons, the sins that I see committed the most. So the first sin that gets committed the most is something I like to call gnatting. Now, gnatting isn't exactly what you think. Gnatting is actually an acronym. It stands for G, going, N, nuts, A, at, T, texting. Going nuts at texting. Now, it is exactly like it sounds. It's basically when a woman, after a breakup, texts her ex-boyfriend so much that it annoys him to the level that he compares you to a gnat. Now, if you've had any experience with the world, you've obviously experienced the phenomenon of gnats flying around your head. It's quite annoying, and no matter how many times you slap away at it or at them, they continue to buzz around. Well, that's how he looks at you. He looks at you as a pest, a mosquito, a annoying buzzing creature around his head that he can't get rid of. Next up, we have a failure to do the no contact rule. Now, if you don't know what the no contact rule is, here's a quick crash course. It's basically a small period of time, usually ranging from 21 days to 45 days, where you ignore your ex-boyfriend. Now, it really plays off on this saying of absence makes the heart grow fonder. And when you look at those three special words, I miss you, you can't really miss someone if you are with someone, and the no contact rule prevents that from happening. It really plays off on this fact that absence makes the heart grow fonder. There's a concept that I really want you to get through your head. It's this idea that men miss things that make them feel good and do not miss things that make them feel bad. So one of the reasons that your ex-boyfriend may not be missing you is the fact that every time he thinks about you, it makes him feel bad. And I don't know about you, but there's nothing I can think of that I miss that made me feel bad. I don't miss any experiences that I've had that made me feel bad. The good ones, on the other hand, I miss. It's just common sense. But the truth is, you probably don't care about any of this. You don't care about any of the behaviors to avoid, because what you're here for is to learn how to make your ex-boyfriend miss you. And in order to understand that, we first need to talk about something that I like to call the nonverbal missing emotion. Now, what is the nonverbal missing emotion? Well, I like to think of it as the emotion that causes you to miss someone. It's something much more powerful than you simply saying, I miss you. It's the thing that makes you anticipate the next text message you're going to get from the person that you're in love with. It's the thing that causes you to pull out your phone and check it every 5 seconds, hoping that they've texted back. It's the thing that makes you sit on the edge of your bed waiting for them to call. It's the thing that makes you nervous before dates. And the nonverbal missing emotion doesn't go away until you are with the person. And then the second that that person leaves you, you get it again. It starts over again. It's this endless cycle. And the only way to feed the beast, so to speak, is to see the person. Now, what I want to teach you is how you can give that feeling to your ex-boyfriend. All right, how to make your ex-boyfriend miss you. There are 6 things that I want to teach you. Now, you can pick and choose which ones you like. If you don't like what I say, or if you don't like a step or a point that I'm making, feel free to leave it out. But for the most part, these are the 6 most effective steps that I've seen women use to make ex-boyfriends miss them. Now, the first thing is something I like to call the push-pull theory. So the push-pull theory is actually really popular among many relationship experts and many relationship forums, but I think a lot of people kind of miss the gist of it. A lot of people think that it means to push your ex-boyfriend away, the more likely he is to try to pull you in. But that's not how it works. The way it works is you push your ex-boyfriend away with something like a backhanded compliment or even something as harsh as standing him up on a date. And then, after you've done the push, you pull him in by giving him a compliment or making him think he has a chance. It's this endless process where you push and then pull. And the more this happens, the more he will begin to miss you because, as you know, as I teach on ex-boyfriend recovery and throughout the videos on YouTube, the more a man can't have you, the more he wants you. Men want what they can't have. Now, the second thing that you can do to make your ex-boyfriend miss you is to highlight the important and fun aspects of your life on a social media site like Facebook. A few years ago, a Western University's master's candidate posted a really interesting study. She found that 88% of people stalk their ex's Facebook profile. So that means that there's an 88% chance that your ex-boyfriend is going to come by your Facebook profile someday and stalk it. So while he's stalking it, why not pimp it out? Why not control what he sees? Why not make everything about your life ever since the breakup the most incredible thing ever? Why not post pictures of you having fun with your friends? If you've got a new haircut, post pictures of that. If you're going on vacation, post pictures of that. Heck, if you've lost weight, post pictures of that. Basically, the more you can show him what he's missing, the more he's going to miss you. Now, the third point, or the third thing that we're going to talk about that you can do to make him miss you, is to use jealousy.
Funny joke, Chad. Yeah.
Who are you on the phone with?
It's my friend, Chad.
Chad?
Yeah, hey, Chad, can I call you right back?
Now, when it comes to jealousy, it's a little bit like playing with fire. If you do it right, it can keep you really warm and be really nice to look at. But if you misuse it, it can burn down the whole forest. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is the correct way to use jealousy. And I'm going to teach you that by using two tried and true methods. So the first method is something I like to call the friend picture method. We just got done talking about Facebook and the importance of posting incredible pictures with your friends and having a good fun time. And we already know that there's an 88% chance that your ex is going to be coming around to your Facebook profile or other social media profile and looking at it. So what if you posted a picture with a guy? Well, that's fine, but there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. Take a look at this picture. This is an example of what not to do. Notice how the guy is macking on the girl. He's kissing her. It's really involved. We don't want this. This is going to scare your ex-boyfriend off. It will make him jealous though, but it's going to scare him off and we want to get him back. Now take a look at this picture. This picture is a perfect example of what to do. Notice how nothing is really defined here. There's no kisses or touching going on, but it can make someone wonder if there's potential for it. And that's what we want your ex-boyfriend to do. We want him to wonder if there's potential for it. And the more he feels jealous about this, and believe me, he will, sometimes when it comes to jealousy, less is more. So when he feels jealous about this, the more he's likely to miss you. Now, the second example of jealousy that I'm going to talk about today is something I like to call the jealousy text message. Now, there's a lot of different types of jealousy text messages, but the one that I like the most is the fake running into him. So imagine you sent him a text that you saw him at a bar when you didn't. Hey, was that you that I ran into at Sherlock's last night? By the way, Sherlock's is completely made up just for the purposes of this video. Well, he's going to get that text and think, what the heck, I wasn't at Sherlock's last night. That's exactly what you want him to think, because he's going to be thinking about you that you were, number one, you were looking at other guys, or you were mistaking him for another guy. And number two, the fact that you were in a position where other guys could hit on you. And number three, you're not out sobbing and depressed and eating ice cream like he's hoping or expecting you to be. Again, jealousy equals missing you. The fourth type of missing tactic that we're going to use is helping him see what life could be like with you.
Hey, wanna go to Paris?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. Now I'm going to keep this really short because there's really a million things or a million ways that you can help your ex-boyfriend envision what life could be like with you. Instead, I'm just going to focus on my favorite way. It's something I like to call the breadcrumb method. Now here's an example of the breadcrumb method. One of my wife's biggest dreams in life was to visit Paris. So ever so subtly, when we were dating, I would drop these little breadcrumbs, like, oh yeah, we'll go there one day. And the more I did this, the more she began to envision what life would be like with me. She envisioned us walking to the Eiffel Tower, of watching it light up in the sky at night. Fun fact, it actually does that, and we did go. So the fifth missing tactic or strategy that you can use to help make your ex-boyfriend miss you is the Inception method. It's a dream within a dream. Okay, it's not really a dream within a dream. Instead, the way the Inception method works is basically you're going to take one of your ex-boyfriend's thoughts and inception it. You're going to take ownership of it. So basically, anytime he thinks that thought, he's going to subconsciously think of you. How does this work, or how can you accomplish this? Well, I'll admit it's not an easy feat to accomplish, but you need to start by having knowledge of things that he's interested in. Take your favorite TV show, for example. I want you to have really in-depth, incredible conversations about this TV show. Game of Thrones, for example. Have something interesting to say about Game of Thrones. Don't be boring like, hey, did you just see that last episode? Wasn't that amazing? No. Talk in depth with him about it. Talk about some of the epic moments that have occurred, some of the incredible set pieces, some of the incredible acting moments that have occurred there. Peter Dinklage as Tyrion. Talk about that stuff. Have knowledge of it. Basically, become his go-to girl for Game of Thrones. In this example, it can be something else, obviously. Speaking of examples, I suppose if you want to talk about the Inception method and if I've ever accomplished it, of course I have. I just talked about Paris and my wife with the breadcrumb method and everything. Well, I guarantee you, every time that my wife thinks about Paris, she doesn't think about the Louvre or the Mona Lisa or the Eiffel Tower or something, or Versailles or something incredible like that. She thinks about our trip there. So basically, anytime that she has a thought about Paris, she's going to think, oh, I went there with my husband. I've inceptioned her thought. Now, can you inception one of your ex-boyfriend's thoughts? That sounded really wrong. Anyways, this last step or strategy to make your ex-boyfriend miss you is really easy. It's basically having the ability to blow him off. Hey, baby girl, you want to go on a date with this guy?
No.
Why not? You'd be shocked at the amount of women who come to ex-boyfriend recovery and don't have this ability. They're too afraid to blow their ex-boyfriends off. They're too afraid to hurt his feelings or incur his wrath. But really, a woman who's went through a breakup has nothing to lose. What do they have to lose about blowing their ex-boyfriends off? Remember, men want what they can't have. And a woman who responds to his text messages within seconds and a woman who picks up every single time he calls isn't as highly valued as a woman who doesn't do those things. A woman who maybe waits 3 hours to respond to a text message or doesn't even pick up on his phone calls, calls him back maybe the next day. Don't be afraid to do some of that stuff. Don't be afraid to be unavailable for him. I promise you, if you do it, he's more likely to miss you. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I really had a fun time recording it. If you like what you saw, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. If not, hey, no hard feelings. I'm just glad to have you, and I'm really honored that you took the time to watch the video. If you want more advice on how to get your ex-boyfriend back, probably the best resource online, and I'm not just BSing here, is Ex-Boyfriend Recovery. That's www.exboyfriendrecovery.com. I write 7,000-word guides pretty much on everything that I cover. I try to cover every single situation you can conceivably think of about getting an ex back or even getting over an ex, because after all, recovery means recovering an ex or recovering from the breakup. So go go ahead and visit if you want to ex-boyfriendrecovery.com. Again, I really appreciate you guys for watching this to the end. I'll see you next week.